Welcome to Scola's trip to Ireland in summer of 2016. I'm Billy Turney, director of the Scola Cantorum of Santa Fe, and I'm going to give you a few tips on items to take with you to Ireland. For the airplane travel portion of the trip, you want to make sure you arrive at the airport 3 hours prior to departure time for an international flight, as recommended by the airline. Have to go through security and make sure everything is in order, show your passport, etc. And so it's surprising how quickly that 3 hours time passes by. It's certainly always needed. For your dress apparel on the airline, it should be noted that Scola members should take their outfit that they'll be singing in with them on the airplane. Either they can wear it or take it in their carry-on. It is a fact that better dressed airplane passengers are treated better on board the airplane for a variety of reasons, and I caution you against wearing sweats or jammies on the airline thinking you'll be comfortable, but rather look smart and you'll be treated accordingly. Remembering that when we arrive at 7 or so in the morning, that we're going to be right on the streets of Dublin, and we want to be ready to go. A few items that I take on board the aircraft with me, especially for the overnight crossing of the Atlantic, include some blindfold. Helps me get a little bit of sleep at night. I don't always sleep that well on the aircraft, but that certainly helps. And with that, some earplugs. And those again help as well. Another little item I take is this, which I won't blow up for you right now, but it's one of these neck pillows, and these actually come in pretty handy keeping your neck straight, so when you doze off during the flight that your head actually doesn't go side to side or forward and giving you a neck ache. Surprising how much that can help. I take my own set of earphones because I can plug them into my iPhone or iPad and listen to my own music, or I can plug them right in and listen to the movies as well that are on board. Two items that are going to be really important to you are going to be your passport and your way to purchase things. That would be your money. And so I put those in a wallet, but it's not a regular wallet that I carry in my pocket. I actually have this travel wallet that I bought at REI, where I happen to purchase a lot of my items, certainly very convenient. And this is a pretty big sized wallet, really. And you can put your passport in here, you can put some credit cards in here, put some cash in here, and then you can take this, it's on a long string, and what I do is I actually wear this under my shirt, and it's very easy to do. And you put it around there, and then I actually have it tucked up under my shoulder there for the entire trip. And no matter what I'm wearing, I always have it there, and it's close by. And I know my passport is nearby, and I know that my money is nearby. Passport is absolutely paramount that you always have with you, and that you never let it go. Nothing can turn your trip upside down quicker than losing your passport. So something you just don't want to happen. Peter's Way will send you a holder that you could probably hold your passport in, and identification and all of that. I don't ever use this. These are really more to be worn as saying, hi, I'm Billy, I'm the director, and something you would wear around your neck like this, and then for everybody to see. And of course, nothing screams louder that I'm a tourist and I'm not from around here than this, which everybody's going to know you're American, because once they hear you talk, they're going to pick that up really quickly. But you want to try to fit in as best you can when you're on the street. Ireland is all very safe, but in Dublin, sometimes it can be a little bit fast-paced inside of a crowd, and so you don't want to have anything on the outside, including this, and this just isn't the thing that I happen to use. A little bit about electronic items in Ireland. In Ireland, the electricity is on 50 hertz, 220 volts, which is different than in the United States, where it's 60 hertz and 110 volts. So many years ago, you needed to take along your own transformer, and that's not really the case so much anymore. This charger that I have for my iPhone actually has a plate on here, and it says that it runs either at 50 or 60 hertz and runs at 110 to 220 volts. And so this will work here in the United States. You can just plug it in directly, and when you get over to Ireland, it'll work again. What the difference is, though, is that they have this kind of a plug in Ireland, and we have this kind of a plug. And so this here is just an adapter, and you can take this and plug it in, and then just plug that directly into the wall, and it will work just fine. And so for camera chargers and iPhone chargers, smartphone chargers, whatever you have, just look on there and see there should be a plate, and it will say that directly. If you don't have that plate on there, then probably it's not going to work with just this simple adapter. And if that's the case, then you need something else, and it's a transformer. It transforms the electricity of the 220 to the 110, and it looks just like this, and it's a little bit heavy, and so I don't really like to take this along, especially now that most things work on the dual voltage. This should get you through. You can buy this at so many places, travel stores, drugstores, sporting shops, etc. And they can come in a kit with all of this. You can order them off of Amazon if you really want to do that. But remember that Ireland is a very sophisticated country, and any items that you don't have will be within just a walking distance there when we arrive in Dublin, and you can pick up any of the items that you think that you're missing, including these converters. In regards to hair dryers, all of the hotels we're staying in are modern hotels. They all have hair dryers. You don't need to take a hair dryer. If you do really want to take one along, again, do make sure that it's got this plate on the bottom, and that you're taking all of the right pieces of equipment to make that work. Regarding your passport, Peter's Way advises that you make a copy of your passport. The U.S. government does not necessarily recommend that. However, it's not a bad idea to make such a copy to keep on your person, just in case you lose that passport. As I mentioned, losing your passport overseas is the fastest way to turn your trip upside down. Don't forget to take any prescription medications that you have. I always carry my EpiPen in case I get bit by a bee. I have an allergic reaction. And you just want to make sure that you have that original packing to take along with you to show anyone that you're challenged with at the airport or otherwise that what you have is legal and required, and you can carry those on with you, and I highly recommend that you do. You wouldn't want to put them in your luggage and take a chance of those getting lost. For use of a camera, your phone may have all that you need and want in both still pictures and videos. If you take a camera like I do, I recommend something pretty small. I've had big cameras, and through the years I've gotten smaller and smaller, and the cameras are getting better and better, and the small ones always travel a whole lot nicer. If you do take a camera, you want to make sure that you take an extra battery or two, and that you have the right electronic equipment to recharge it when you get over there. And so that means I recommend you go in and you actually make sure you have the correct cords and the correct rechargers, and you set all that up before you leave and make sure that it all works. Nothing like getting on a trip and then you find out that the electronics don't quite all match up, and then there's a lot of disappointment when your camera goes dead after about the second day and you've got 10 or 11 more days that you want to record things and you can't. Clothing apparel in Ireland. You don't see blue jeans worn too much over there. You know, it rains a little bit in Ireland, and when blue jeans get wet, they're not very practical because they stay pretty wet. So typically you see at least men in kind of, you know, trousers or slacks of some kind. Something that I wear, I actually got these at REI. You think I'm an REI commercial by now. But at any rate, these are REI pants, and Columbia makes them, North Face makes them, and a host of other producers. And so they actually do pretty well when they get wet. They dry quickly because they're made really for hiking, but they look pretty sharp at the same time. They have cargo pockets on them perhaps. And also when you do something like you spill your tea or your lunch on them by accident, they're pretty easy to clean up and keep going, and they dry easily. So I recommend those. Shirts, you don't see many guys with t-shirts, especially that have logos on the front. That's just not what you see in Ireland. And oftentimes you'll see someone maybe with a pullover, but it'll be a nicer looking pullover, polo type shirt of some type, or a button down shirt. And it's not that warm in Ireland, and so they dress up a little more anyway. Sometimes they have vests, they got jackets that they may wear, and a lot of people wear hats. And you can certainly bone up, purchase any of these items over there as well. So probably not a big call to get those in advance. But something that I do take along, I take a fleece, just a real nice, easy, light fleece. This one happens to be short sleeved, and it's just easy to carry, and probably all you need for warmth. I do not take an umbrella with me because they sell umbrellas over there if you happen to need one and you really want to get one. But what I do take is this jacket, and it's got a hood, and it's a waterproof jacket, and it's just enough to keep the rain off and to keep you warm enough when it's really getting pretty damp and pretty cold outside. Hopefully we'll have good weather, but you never know. And that's really all that I take in regards to jackets. Now for the ladies, one thing I see in Ireland a lot is the ladies wear skirts oftentimes. They may wear slacks themselves, and tights, and so that's kind of a lot of the fashion. If you want to think ahead and look at fashion for Ireland, certainly go on the web, and there's a store in Ireland called Pennies, and it sounds like Pennies in America, but it's a completely different chain, and it's really where the young people in part and all the rest of us shop in Pennies, and they can give you a lot of looks on how the styles are over there. And once again, you can purchase things in Ireland, and so it might be fun for you just to wait till you get over there and go shopping. Where we're going to stay in Dublin, at that hotel, is just about a 10-minute walk from this big pedestrian part of Dublin where there's lots of great shops, and you can actually start to pick up things over there if you like to do that. A little bit of adventure. An item that I picked up at a travel shop is this, and this is actually a clothesline, and it has a couple suction cups and some things here on the end that I could Velcro around something, and so I can put these in the bathroom and put it up somewhere in there around the tub or the shower, whatever they happen to have, and then I can wash a few clothes in my room, undergarments, socks, pants, even my shirt. Shirts that I take, I usually wear just some polypropylene, very thin button-down type of shirts that, should they get wet, because again, it can rain in Ireland, wouldn't you know it, and those will dry quickly, and then it's also something you can also wash out easily in the sink and hang up to dry, and they'll dry pretty quick. I usually take along some laundry soap that I get at REI or some type of travel shop, and they come in little packets. You can take a bottle, but I just tend to go for the packets, and they're just the little tear-off tops, and one packet for a load of laundry in your sink that'll do a few items. They're very easy to carry, and so you might look for those when you go to the travel shop or go online looking for those items. With all this talk of rain in Ireland, I've actually had really good luck with the weather over there. It's been oftentimes quite sunny, and so you can be surprised, and you might actually need your sunblock. So if you have sunblock, you might want to pack it along with you. And a hat, of course, they sell lots of hats over there. And I actually have a large, broad-brimmed hat that I take along. It's actually waterproof that I sometimes use. I actually wear glasses much of the time, and so nothing like rain to get on your glasses, and when that happens you can't see very well, so if you have a bigger hat, sometimes that's a good idea. But actually this is enough to get you through most things, and they sell a ton of these over there for the guys. And so don't forget that the sun might shine. Footwear. So Scola members will be taking their black dress shoes for the concerts, and I'll be taking along a second pair as well that are comfortable, that I can use for walking around, that'll look sharp enough, and something that I can also go for walks in the park. Or we're going to go out to a place called Ackle Island, where there'll be an opportunity actually to do some walking on the beach and do climbing a little bit around on the trails. And so some nice sturdy outdoor shoes I highly recommend. Scola members will certainly want to wear their black dress shoes on the airplane, just in case of the event that luggage is lost. You will have your outfit and have your shoes that will be required. And usually when you lose your luggage, or the airline loses it for you, I suppose, then it catches up, a day or two or three later, and I'm sure it will. But in the meantime, Scola has programs to sing for on the second day that they arrive. So again, Scola, make sure you wear your black shoes and either wear your black outfits or carry them on the airplane with you. An item that I throw in is a first aid kit, just a small travel one. It's got some bandages in there and some ointment and some aspirin, ibuprofen, all those things. Hopefully you won't need any of those, but of course when you need them, you need them. And so I just toss those in. And some people are sensitive to aspirin and or ibuprofen. So if you think you need to take along some painkillers of any sort, then please make sure that you pack the right things. And then I take a backpack. This is what I take, just a day pack. And I take that on the airplane with me, and I put a lot of the items that I'm certainly going to need that I couldn't kind of live without for a few days in there. And then when you get over there, it's just easier to travel that, to put in the things you need on any particular day in there, and you can get out and do any walking around the towns or the countryside or on the trails. And then you'll just might always have your rain jacket in there with you, and maybe a fleece or your camera, battery cameras, whatever you happen to need. And to pack all my items that I take, that I'm going to check through on the airplane, I use a medium-sized suitcase. They're just easier to use, and so if you have the idea you want to take along an extra huge one, think about weight. If something weighs over 50 pounds, you pay extra. On the airplane, for sure, they're harder to get around, and you are allowed, however, only one suitcase per person, and that has to do not with the airplane so much, but actually with the tour company over there and the bus. And so it's something that they will absolutely enforce. And if you have an extra second suitcase, you will have to actually lug it around yourself, and you'll be loading it inside the bus yourself along with everybody else. And so I strongly encourage you just to have everything in one medium-sized suitcase that you can check through, and then carry a backpack or something similar to that you can easily take on the aircraft, you can take on the bus, you can do walking or hiking, or carry it around with you at all times, just for great ease. Space is always a premium when you travel, and so I encourage you to take only the minimum number of items that you really think that you are going to use. And you'll have some time between now and the time we leave, and I encourage you to really look and see what you really use and don't use. Again, you can pick up things over there as you need them, toiletries or clothing or whatever you can think of. They have it all. And Dublin's a big city where we're going to be staying, and they'll have everything there, of course, but all the smaller towns will have everything that you need as well. So if you forget something, you'll be in good shape to pick up any items. And one last thing regarding money. And so I take some cash. I usually take a couple €100 with me just to have in my wallet. and you can go to any local bank and you can get euros. So in the Republic of Ireland, which is mostly where we're going to be, they take euros. However, when we go into North Ireland, they take pounds sterling because North Ireland is still under the auspices of the United Kingdom under England. And so that's the currency of England is pounds sterling. However, I don't think it's necessary that you really pick any up necessarily. They tend to take American dollars at places, and we're just there in Armagh for a couple of nights. If you should run into Belfast, again, you're not going to probably have enough time to spend too much money there. So if you have a credit card, that will certainly work anywhere, either in the Republic of Ireland or in North Ireland. And there is those debit credit cards, and you need to check with your bank in advance to tell them that you're traveling and to make sure that those actually work. Over there, you don't want to get over there and find out that you have a debit card that doesn't work. I've had no problem with debit cards myself, however. I've put them in there and been able to take out cash at ATM machines over there in Ireland. No problem. So what do I do is if I have more than one credit card, I keep one in the wallet that I keep underneath my clothing at all times. And I mean all times, even during concerts and anytime we're hiking around or otherwise, it's really not inconvenient at all. And then I have another small wallet that I just call my throwaway wallet that I keep a few euro in at all times. And then I can, use that easily for purchase things. If anything happens, if I lose it anywhere, then it's not the end of the world. And I still have my passport, plus my credit cards and most of my cash up in my wallet that I carry on my person at all times. How much cash to carry with you? As I mentioned, I'd take a couple hundred euros with me and maybe a little more. For the trip itself, all the breakfasts and dinners are actually included, and so lunchtime meals are something where you're going to have some cash to purchase those. And then anything that you want to pick up along the way. And so I'll leave it up to you how much to take. But to be comfortable, a couple hundred euros, which is just about $200 with the exchange rate these days, is probably a good amount that you should have in your pocket for sure as a minimum. Your communication device while in Ireland, that being your phone. And so I have a smartphone that I've had for several years right now, and I've actually just used this in Ireland. I've just showed up and fired it up and go into the settings and set it up for international roaming, and it works great. I have Verizon carrier, and before I left, I actually called Verizon and told them I was going to travel internationally to Ireland. I paid an extra $25, and they gave me a few megabytes of storage that I could use while I was over there, and then I wouldn't get any crazy charges when I came back. And so that was a good thing, but the tip is that can get expensive on you quite by surprise. So kind of the thing that's now that's very useful and easy to do is you can take this phone and being a smartphone, and you can actually, when you get over there, you can buy a SIM card, S-I-M, it's a SIM card, and it's what makes these phones work. And so you can, you go in here with your little tool to open that up, and a friend of mine went to Europe, and he actually used his wife's earring stud to put in there to open it up. You open that up, and there's this little tiny card in there. And this one happens to say Verizon on it. It came with the phone originally. When you get over there, you go to the Vodafone place, which they have them there in the airport. They have one within a 10-minute walk of the hotel in Dublin. And you can just take that out. You take the SIM card that they sell to you over there, which you can buy for maybe $35. And it has a lot of memory. And you put it back into your phone, just like so. And when you turn it on, it gives you all the instructions. And you actually have an Irish phone. You're on the Vodafone Irish telephone system, and you get a new number, and you can then use it for roaming while you're over there. You don't incur any unexpected charges. So if you have a smartphone, you do not need to get another phone. You can just simply put in the new SIM card. But what you should do is for sure is to contact your phone company to make sure that your phone is what's called unlocked. And all the phones that are coming out now are technically unlocked for international travel for doing that. But do check that. Don't wait till you get over there to find out. Another one of those things that you want to do well in advance to make sure that indeed your phone is going to work, that you have the correct model. Another option that you could do is you could get over there and you could just buy a little flip phone, which are really inexpensive as well. You can buy one for $35. And I've done that before, and it's pretty good for making some local calls or for texting. But my guess is that you probably want to do a little social media and make some calls, send some texts, do some emails. Certainly from all the hotels, there'll be Wi-Fi, and so that'll be free. But again, you don't want to get caught short, and so you can just spend maybe $35, buy yourself a SIM card or a phone of some type, and then you are good to go. One personal thing that you'll want to take along is a watch. And if you always have your phone on you, then you'll have a watch, you'll know what time it is. But certainly a wristwatch is a good idea. Scola Travels, we have many concerts, and we have workshops, and so it's imperative that we're all on time for all of those. We don't actually have too much bus travel on the trip, but when we do travel by bus, we of course want to be absolutely on time. It only takes one person to be late, and then you've got a lot of other unhappy travelers. And then should Scola be late, then that would not be a good thing. So again, a timepiece, whether that's a wristwatch or a phone that has your time on it, etc., something good to have with you. I usually take along a small journal, jot down some notes and some memories of things that I did and saw, and not much of an artist, but sometimes I kind of draw a little bit in there as well. Just another little item to help record this, what I think is going to be a trip of a lifetime to Ireland. So those are a few tips for the things that I take along when I travel abroad, and especially to Ireland. And you may come across other lists that may be helpful as well. And Peter's Way will be sending you a list that you probably have already received of their recommendations as well. Any questions, though, please let me know, and I can give you any further advice. Okay, see you in Ireland.